my name is Mr. Pete, and I am currently reading The One and Only Bob, which is a second part in what appears to be a series of books, starting with The One and Only Ivan, which to me is one of the greatest children's books that I have ever read. The One and Only Bob picks up where that story lets off from a different perspective, from my personal favorite character, Bob the dog. Now, I do want to give warning, it has been a long time since I've read this, and I don't remember all of my voices for all of my characters, and what I was going to do is spend some time with the videos that I've made already, but I don't have that kind of time with everything that's going on currently in the world and with how I am planning my lessons. So I am just going to wing it, and hopefully I do a good job. All right, so here we go. I believe this is going to be part 10 of The One and Only Bob, starting with Evacuate Now. Obviously, we're going through lots of setting changes here, so please be paying attention to setting, and we'll run through as many of those wonderful lit terms and fictional elements that we come across. Here we go. Evacuate now. Look, says the officer, you need to evacuate now. It's mandatory. Highlight vocabulary word. Mandatory is absolutely a really awesome word that means you have to do it. We can't just leave these animals. Cowboy sticks his finger in the orange cat's cage. The cat rubs against it, purring like his life depends on it. Which it maybe kind of does. The officer sighs. You don't have a choice. We can't just leave them, says Boots, and I have to applaud her enthusiasm, even as I wonder why she'd risk her life for us. There is no explaining humans. Just got word the bridge over Big Fork Creek collapsed, the officer says. You guys gotta move. Boots snaps her fingers. Wait, you have a cop car, right? Yes, I have a vehicle, ma'am, says the officer, but the way the roads are looking, probably not for long. Okay, says Boots, so we evacuate. We evacuate every last dog and cat and gerbil we can get in your car. The officer purses his lips. And take them where exactly? Shelter at the high school. That's where we've been sending people. They're not really set up for it, but once we start flooding and the elementary school stop taking pets, they agreed to do what they can. The officer grumbles, considers, goes for it. Maybe that's where Julia and George are. The three humans load cats and dogs, parakeets and hamsters, one after another, into the police car. Some are in cages, and some, including a couple of unhappy cats, are on tug-of-war strings. Finally, it's our turn. Looks like there are 9 of us left. Car's full and then some, the officer reports, struggling to shut the shelter's front door against the rising water. We are officially out of room. Cowboy looks at us, his eyes teary. Don't worry, fellas, we'll be back. He sniffles. I promise. They're going to leave them. You think we should leave the cages open, at least give them a fighting chance, asked Boots, in case, Sure, but they couldn't handle the current. I can barely stand up. Cowboy shakes his head. Look, I'll borrow my brother's bass boat. We'll come right back. Hopefully the water won't get much higher than this. Okay, then. Boots gives him a grim nod. Grim, highlight, vocab word. Grim is not good. Stay calm, friends, like that's an option. Preparing for the worst. The wind slows for a moment and the room goes silent. We stare at the black pool swallowing the cages below. Personification. The black pool is water. It's not a person that swallows. A chew toy shaped like a pink turtle floats past. It's just us and a whole lot of water. I check out the group. 2 cats, 1 bunny, 6 dogs, including Snickers, Boss, and me. There's nowhere to jump. No tables, no cabinets, no space above the upper cages. And as Cowboy pointed out, the current is probably too strong for us to tackle anyways. Folks, don't give up hope. You heard them, I say. They're coming back for us. No way they're coming back, says a sad-faced beagle mix. Give me a break. You never know, I say. I'm such a lousy liar. So it's funny here. It is ironic because Bob, the Bob that we used to know, never would have been the optimistic one. He would have never believed that humans are going to come back, and now he's trying to, now he's sort of on the other side. Oh, yes, we do, my sister mutters, just loud enough for me to hear, and we share a look. Look, chances are the water won't get too much higher, I say. But just to be on the safe side, pile up anything you have in your cage. Bowls, toys, towels. Who died and made you pack leader? Asks a big mutt with a graying snout. Well, it beats howling like babies, I say, and instantly I remember landing in Stretch's domain. Howling like a baby is exactly what I did. I had a dog biscuit this morning bigger than you, says Gray Muzzle. What about me? Someone squeaks. Does a bunny get a vote? Hold on, Thumper, says the orange cat. This clearly is a job for a higher feline intellect. No, a sharp voice rises above the din. Listen to Bob. He's annoying and his hygiene leaves a lot to be desired. But I've seen him get himself out of all kinds of scrapes. Thanks for the props, Snick, I say, especially the kind words about my odor. The wind groans, personification, and something metallic hits the side of the building. We fall silent again, waiting for more. The windows rattle, the walls shudder. It's like the building is as scared as the rest of us. Simile and personification. So, Snicker says, breaking the gloom, you heard Bob start stacking. How about my litter box? Asks a small white cat with the dark green eyes. Would that work? Sure, I say. Use anything. The goal is to get as high as you can. And then what? Asks a young dachshund. Worst case, we swim for it, I say. That's actually not the worst case, says the bunny. No one asks what is. We already know. A question. We do all we can do, which isn't much. The rain hammers, personification. The wind shrieks, personification. Sirens come and go in the distance. I wonder what Ivan and Ruby are doing. And what about George and Julia? Where are they? How are they? Boss seems scary calm, tough as old jerky. Simile. She looks the way I want to feel. Before long, the water is lapping onto the floor of our cages. It's ice cold and moving quick. 1 inch. 2. Every now and then, someone whimpers or moans, but mostly we're quiet. If you can stand on your hind legs, guys, do it. Climb on anything you got, I suggest. I turn to Boss. When I say go, I want you to climb on my back. It'll buy you a little time, maybe. No way. Please, I need to do this. Boss just stares at me. She's so thin, I can see every rib. To make it up to you, I add. What are you even talking about, Bob? I look away. I'm sorry, I say, not sure where my words are taking me. I should have saved you, Boss. Save me? The thing is, I heard you on the highway, and I should have... My voice trails off. I stifle a sob. Bob, we were puppies. Tiny puppies. Don't be ridiculous. How exactly were you going to save me? I don't know, but I should have tried. We both did what we had to do. Boss nudges me gently. Bob, this is crazy. I can't seem to forgive myself. I whisper it, but I know she hears me. Beneath the water, I feel a paw on mine. I forgive you, okay? Not that you need it, mind you. One condition, though. I nod. Wait. You have to forgive yourself, too. Again I nod, and slowly but surely, something fine and warm begins to fill my heart. So this is a big deal because Bob has been sort of a jerk through the whole first book and a half. And we see the good signs and we see him trying to be good, but this is the one thing that's been holding him back. Romeo. Before I can say anything more, Snickers calls my name. Bob, dear, there's something I want you to know. Boss winks at me. Listen up, brother. Sure, Snickers, I call. What's up? Ahem. Snickers makes a little throat-clearing noise. I've kept this locked inside me all this time, but now, facing the end, I feel the need to unburden myself. Highlight unburden, vocabulary word. Unburden means to get something off your chest, to get something out that you've been hiding. Really, Snick, I say quickly, there's no need for that. The thing is, Snickers pauses for dramatic effect, I love you, Bob. I always have. I love the way your cute little tail gets all curled between your legs when you're embarrassed. I love the way you hum to yourself when you chew your kibble. I love the way you drool when you take a nap. I think I'm getting the picture, Snick, thanks. That's awful nice of you to say. And, Snickers says, Boss can't hide her amusement. Go ahead, Bob, she whispers. What can it hurt? We're all gonna die anyway. Bobo, Snickers calls. Yeah, sure. I think you're pretty swell too, Snick. And what is it that you love about me? I close my eyes, take a deep breath. Well, those pink boots of yours, those are cool. And, I swear I'm trying, but I'm totally drawing a blank. In fairness, the water's up to my belly, and my teeth are chattering so loud, I can't hear myself think. And, I begin. Oh, come on! How hard is it? Yells the bunny, who's perched on a pile of wet timothy hay. She's a looker, and she's smart, and she's way too good for the likes of you. Try that, Romeo. You're a looker, and you're smart, and you're way too good for the likes of me, I repeat. Snickers lets out a contented sigh. That wasn't so hard, was it? Boss asks. I groan. Sis, you have no idea. An interesting life. An awful noise comes like a tree trunk splitting in two, simile, while we watch in disbelief a piece of the roof, the size of a Great Dane, simply vanishes. Rains gushes through the hole in the torrents. Boss, I say, it's time. Jump on my back. And that's a good idea because, why exactly? Because maybe you'll get your turn, I say. Your chance to have things go your way. I've had an interesting life. I want you to have one too. Bob, at best, you're buying me a couple extra minutes, Boss says. Sis, I'm like 30 seconds older than you. You're not the boss of me. Please? Why? Just because you're a guy? I could take you down in a second with 3 paws tied behind my back. And if you get out of here and I don't, I continue ignoring her, there's a place I want you to go. Sit on the front porch, wait for the humans who live there. Who are you kidding, Bob? We're both about to die. 3 blocks up, 4 houses down on the left, look for a big oak tree. Guy named Nutwit lives there. Nutwit? She's suppressing a smile. Say it, I command. Fine, whatever. 3 blocks up, 4 houses down. Nutwit. We go back and forth like that, arguing, bantering, trying not to hear the terror of our cage mates. And I think maybe I'm starting to hallucinate a little. I'm starving and freezing, and I feel kind of dizzy. All the smells and sounds are mingling together, and crazy as it seems, I actually think I catch a whiff of Ivan. Well, that's kind of cool, I think. At least I'll be remembering my best buddy when I die. There are worse ways to go. Hey, the water laps at my mouth, foul tasting and frigid. Now, I say to my sister, get on my back now. I'm saving you, whether you like it or not. Something in my choked voice scares her, I guess, because she leaps right onto my back with a horrified yelp. I blink back muddy water. The silver presence looms before me. Still, I'm not entirely sure it's him until I get a real big old whiff of banana. Hey, Bob, says Ivan. The screech is a terror ear-splitting, and my poor ears have endured plenty by this point. Folks, I cry, relax. He's here to save us. Monkey, screams the orange cat. Giant monkey! I beg your pardon, says Ivan. The bunny cowers in a corner of her cage. If King Kong is here to eat us, I'd rather drown. Sea serpent, screams the beagle. An arched gray trunk glides past. Ruby, I exclaimed. She's just tall enough to keep her head above the water. Ivan, Ruby, Snickers calls in a delighted voice. Over here, dears. Long time no see. Hey, Snickers, Ruby says. Snickers wags her drenched tail puff. My, how you've grown, sweetie. Excuse me, says the gray muzzle, but maybe the happy reunion could wait till we're, not underwater. Ivan taps his chin. He's always slow, always deliberate, highlight vocabulary, does things in a very meaningful, slow way. I like that about the guy, except when I'm about to drown. We need to get all of you to higher ground, he says at last, but the current's tough to fight, even for Ruby and me. There's always the roof, I say, but it's damaged. Ivan nods. Seems there's a tree on it. Look, Uncle Bob, Ruby says, paddling back and forth. I'm an Ella Mermaid. Kid always makes me smile. Good work, Ruby. I've got an idea, says Ivan. It'll take multiple trips, so I'm going to start with the smallest creatures and work from there. My sister gazes down at me from her perch on my back. You actually know this ape? He's my best pal. Ivan and I go way back. A long pause follows. Bob, Boss finally says, you weren't kidding. You really have had an interesting laugh. To safety. One thing about being a silverback, that strength of 8 men thing can come in handy. Ivan starts with the bunny and the dachshund, one in each arm, along with 2 cats perched on his shoulders and head. One more trip, this time with the beagle and Snickers, and then Boss and me are on our way. Ruby holds tight to Gray Muzzle's collar, and he manages to paddle alongside her, using Ruby as a ballast. Vocabulary word, floating device. It takes us a while to cross the street. The current's swift and the water's up to Ruby's neck in places. Ivan, I ask as we approach the other side, did they find George and Julia? They're okay. A little banged up, but fine. They made it safely to a keeper's shed. Tree fell and blocked the door. There's Ivan always thinking of others. I choke back a sob of relief. George was out looking for you when Ruby and I left. How did you find me? Ruby saw which way you were running, says Ivan. And don't forget that gorillas and elephants have great noses, Bob. Maybe not dog level, but not bad. We followed your stink, Uncle Bob, Ruby explains. When we reach the far side, I see where Ivan has deposited our fellow inmates. The parking lot of a donut shop. The lights inside are off like everywhere else, but I glimpse a few flickering candles, and people are milling about. Come on, everybody, Ivan calls. Let's get you inside. I'm hoping these folk won't mind a bit of company. As we gather at the entrance, Boss pauses. I'm gonna head out, she says, avoiding my gaze. What? I demand. I just found you. You can't leave me now. She hesitates. The puppy. Thought maybe I'd check. I mean, I know he's probably gone. She looks at the muddy pavement. It's crazy, I know. Yes, I say firmly. It is crazy. Besides, you're too weak, and your paw is injured. My voice grows urgent. Think about it, boss. What are the odds he stayed in that car and waited for you? Who knows where he is by now? Yeah, she looks defeated. I suppose you're right. What's wrong, Bob? Ivan asks. My sister. Whoa, wait. This is your sister, Uncle Bob? Ruby interrupts, turning to Boss. Then that means you're my aunt. Boss has a puppy, I explain. Stuck in a car near the bridge. I point with my nose. Ivan doesn't know his way around town the way I do. That way, not far. She wants to try to find him, but well, you know, he's probably long gone by now. I know my words are harsh, but I'm trying to protect Boss. No way that puppy is still alive. Ivan strokes his chin. Why don't we get everyone settled inside? He suggests. Then we can figure this out. Never mind, Boss says. Bob's right. It's nuts. Way too dangerous, and probably too late anyway. She takes a deep breath. He's not exactly the first pup I've lost. You'd think I'd be used to this by now, wouldn't you? I don't know what to say. I want to make her pain go away, but what can I do? I'm no bigger than Boss is, and certainly no smarter. And I've got my own problems. My busted nose, my aching foot, my angry stomach. Look out for numero uno. That's my motto for a reason. It's kept me alive this long. Here's a good place to make a prediction. What's about to happen? Then, to my surprise, some fool blurts out, I'll go find him! And apparently, it's me. Yay! We'll go, Ivan says. Yay, more swimming, Ruby cries. It's not safe, Ruby, I say. You have to stay here. I promised Akello I'd watch out for you. I made it this far, she says, donning her elephant pout face. Ivan and I sigh. It's exhausting, all this responsibility, this worry, this love. Promise to stay close, I ask. She holds up her trunk. Elephant's honor. 'Cause Akello will make dog soup out of me if anything happens to you. Yuck! Ruby giggles. Hey, did you know I can almost do a somersault in the water, Uncle Bob? Ivan taps politely on the door to the donut shop, but even a polite knock from a gorilla sounds like a visit from a wrecking ball. Simile. The door opens a crack. I think 2 or 3 people may have fainted, but we can't stay to find out. I hop onto Ivan's shoulder, and the 3 of us head off. I glance behind me to see Boss standing on the pavement, watching us. In the darkness and rain, I can't read her eyes, but I'd like to think there's hope in them. And that's where we're going to stop. So Ruby, Ivan, and Bob, the 3 amigos, are off to look for Bob's sister Boss's baby. So this is where the book One and Only Bob takes a different course for me than The One and Only Ivan. The One and Only Ivan is rooted in truth. And even though, obviously animals can't talk to each other, well, maybe they can, but not the way that we heard them in that book. And obviously Ivan painting a billboard is probably not necessarily realistic. The 3 of these animals going off to find another animal's baby definitely jumps into Fantasyland. But that's okay, because that's what fiction is all about. Doing things that we couldn't normally do in real life, at least this type of fiction. So that's the end of our 10th section. We will find out if they can save Boss's baby in the next chapter. Well, in the next section. Thank you so much for joining me. Please hit subscribe. Please make sure that you read any of the other books that I have as playlists here. This is a fantastic resource, and we all could use a bunch of resources. If you need some extra for your kids, if you need some guided reading and structured for a guided reading group, if you just want to listen to some good books. All right? Thank you so much, and I will see you on the next page. Peace.